1206, a gathering on the Mongolian steppe gave a new title to a man named Temujin, Genghis Khan. Less than 70 years later, armies descended from that alliance ruled or dominated a connected zone stretching from Korea to Eastern Europe. It became the largest contiguous land empire in history. But its most surprising weapon was not the bow. It was organization. Today, you will discover how Temujin united rival steppe groups, why Mongol armies moved faster than their enemies, how a relay network carried orders across a continent, why merchants and religions crossed borders more easily under Mongol rule, and why one enormous empire became 4 competing states. Sit back, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and let us begin. Temujin was born into a world without a single Mongol nation. The eastern steppe was divided among clans and confederations linked by marriage, trade, rivalry, and revenge. His father died while Temujin was still young, and his family lost much of its protection. The later stories of his rise were shaped by politics and legend, but they agree on one essential point. He learned that loyalty had to be built, not assumed. Temujin gathered followers from different families and promoted capable allies beyond the narrow limits of aristocratic birth. He made alliances, survived betrayals, defeated rival leaders, and absorbed defeated groups into a new political structure. In 1206, a great assembly recognized him as Chinggis, or Genghis Khan. The title marked more than a personal victory. It announced a new confederation with a common command. The army was reorganized through a decimal system. Units of roughly 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Families and warriors from different tribes could be mixed together, weakening old loyalties and strengthening the chain of command. Discipline was severe, but promotion could reward skill and reliability. The result was not a random horde. It was a flexible military machine that could divide, coordinate, and reunite over enormous distances. Most Mongol soldiers traveled with several horses, changing mounts to preserve speed. Their composite bows were powerful from horseback, while disciplined riders could shoot, withdraw, turn, and attack again. Scouts gathered information before major movements. Signal flags, horns, smoke, and messengers coordinated separated formations. Feigned retreats tempted enemies to break formation and pursue, only to meet fresh Mongol units waiting beyond the horizon. The Mongols also learned constantly from conquered societies. Chinese and Muslim engineers supported siege operations. Scribes and administrators from Uyghur, Khitan, Chinese, Persian, and other traditions helped manage records, taxation, diplomacy, and communication. Conquest expanded not only the army but the empire's knowledge base. The first campaigns struck neighboring steppe powers and the Jin dynasty in northern China. In 1218, a trade caravan sent toward the Khwarezmian Empire was arrested at Otrar, and Mongol envoys were later killed or humiliated. Genghis Khan answered with a vast campaign across Central Asia. Cities that resisted could face devastating collective punishment. Cities that surrendered sometimes survived and supplied specialists, taxes, and troops. Terror was used deliberately to encourage the next city to submit. When Genghis Khan died in 1227, expansion did not stop. Under his son Ogedei and later rulers, Mongol armies moved into Persia, the Caucasus, Rus principalities, and Central Europe. In 1241, they defeated major forces at Legnica and Mohi. Their advance into Europe ended soon afterward as commanders turned east during a succession crisis. Historians still debate how far the Mongols intended to continue. At its greatest extent, the empire connected lands across roughly 1/4 of the world's land area. No single ruler could govern that space by riding from crisis to crisis. The solution was a communication network commonly called the Yam, expanded especially under Ogedei Khan. Relay stations stood along major routes with fresh horses, supplies, and shelter. Authorized messengers carried tablets of authority called paisa. A rider could exchange an exhausted horse and continue without waiting. Orders, reports, tax records, and intelligence moved from station to station. The system was not invented from nothing. It drew on earlier Chinese and Central Asian practices. Its achievement was scale. Information could travel across a continental empire with remarkable speed. Communication supported trade. Mongol rulers protected approved merchants and diplomatic missions, repaired routes, and imposed a degree of security across territories that had previously been divided among rival powers. Historians often call the resulting period the Pax Mongolica. The phrase should not hide the violence that created the empire, or the wars that continued within it. But for many travelers with the right documents, long-distance movement became more predictable. Silk, porcelain, horses, metalwork, paper, medicines, and luxury goods moved across Eurasia. So did astronomers, engineers, physicians, translators, and religious specialists. Persian and Arab knowledge reached China. Chinese technologies and artistic ideas moved west. Marco Polo became the most famous European traveler associated with this world, but he was only one participant in a much larger exchange. The empire contained Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, followers of traditional Mongol beliefs, and other communities. Mongol rulers generally permitted multiple religions and often welcomed debates at court. This tolerance was practical as well as cultural. A ruling minority needed officials and subjects from many traditions. Freedom was never equal in a modern sense, and policies differed among khans, but the empire did not demand one universal faith. Karakorum, the imperial capital under Ogedei, became a meeting point for envoys, artisans, merchants, and religious communities. It was not the largest city in Eurasia. Its importance came from the network around it. Roads and messengers connected the steppe capital to administrators working thousands of kilometers away. Yet the same scale that made the empire extraordinary made unity fragile. Succession depended on assemblies and competition among descendants of Genghis Khan. Different branches of the family controlled different armies and territories. After the death of Mongol Khan in 1259, rival claims helped trigger civil war. Kublai Khan eventually ruled China and founded the Yuan dynasty. The Ilkhanate governed Persia and parts of the Middle East. The Chagatai Khanate dominated much of Central Asia. The Golden Horde controlled the western steppe and exercised power over Rus lands. These states shared a dynastic origin, but they developed different interests, religions, languages, and political alliances. They sometimes traded with one another. They also fought one another. The fracture did not erase the network immediately. Merchants and envoys still crossed large distances, and Mongol successor states continued to shape Eurasian politics. But internal wars, local resistance, fiscal pressure, and disease weakened connections. In China, the Yuan dynasty fell in 1368. Other khanates transformed, fragmented, or survived in altered forms for centuries. The legacy of the Mongol Empire cannot be reduced to one verdict. Its conquests destroyed cities, displaced populations, and caused enormous loss. At the same time, Mongol rule intensified communication across Eurasia, moved specialists between courts, protected some trade routes, and forced distant societies into direct contact. Destruction and connection were not separate stories. They were produced by the same imperial system. The empire's deepest lesson is organizational. Steppe mobility became strategic mobility. A confederation became a chain of command. Relay stations turned distance into manageable stages. Passports turned authority into an object a traveler could carry. Maps, messengers, engineers, and administrators extended power far beyond what any rider could see. Genghis Khan did not create the empire alone, and the empire did not remain one state for long. Its history was built by rivals, allies, conquered specialists, merchants, officials, and generations of descendants. But the transformation that began in 1206 changed the scale of Eurasian history. The Mongols conquered with horses. They governed with information.